myself when I'm by myself. I'm only nervous alone. What did I settle for? Just a metaphor of something that felt like a home. Black ivy, I'm so lost. Come find me wondering. Used to be reliable, now I'm liable for promises I couldn't keep. I was a little kid, I was different. The world is alive as asleep. All day I shut my mind, just stays blank. I guess I forgot how to dream. Guess I forgot how to dream. Think that I'm losing it, I'm confusing things that I used to keep in a lie. Why can't I trust myself, learn to love myself? They say it's a sign of the times. Don't leave me, oh my mind won't stay easy, easy. I've been along for the ride, but I haven't been driving. Haven't used my eyes in a minute. Swear I'm sincere, but the weed and the internet clouded my vision. These lights make it hard just to sit in or live in the skin that I got. Turning to something I'm not. I'm looking at photos of people looking at the clock. Guess I forgot how to dream. can take this outside, outside. Looking at the stars, staring with my mouth wide. I ain't letting nobody stop me this time. Every single level that I reach and I climb. They ask, are you from outside, outside? Everything around me I create with my mind. Working too hard, I don't want no downtime. Put my team on, they gon' shine, I shine. We can take this. Buckle up, boy, if you bad it, then double up. Remember your team when you hustle up. Don't make a move till you huddle up. I'm coming up, fuck is up. Looking for trouble, then knuckle up. I see through all of your cover-ups. You think that you gonna set me up? Good luck, break it down. Who at the top, I'ma bring them down. I will not stop till you laying down. Till I'm at the top and I'm gazing down. Shit ain't been the same since we came around. Since we became keys and became renowned. Since all of the truth started raining down. If you want that belt, better buckle down. Woo. Outside, outside, looking at the stars, staring with my mouth wide. I ain't letting nobody stop me this time. With every single level that I reach and I climb. They ask, are you from outside, outside? Everything around me I create with my mind. Working too hard, I don't want no downtime. Put my team on, they gon' shine when I shine. You are just not on my level. I keep my foot on the pedal. I set the tone, I don't settle. I can put fear in the devil. You are just not on my level. I keep my foot on the pedal. I set the tone, I don't settle. We can take this outside, outside. Looking at the stars, staring with my mouth wide. I ain't letting nobody stop me this time. Every single level that I reach and I climb. They ask, are you from outside, outside? Everything around me I create with my mind. Working too hard, I don't want no downtime. Put my team on, they gon' shine, I shine. We can take this. You are just not on my level. 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 With me into the darkness where the light cannot follow, where the spirits are broken and the hearts are all hollow. I believe that there is courage, but it's burning like ash in the wind. And I'm broken to pieces, begging
Hello everyone, and welcome to the TVACast.
Hello, hello.
What's up?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, who wants to, to introduce the people? Okay, hello, I'm Connor, 1814D. The person over here is Spencer. This one here is Jacob. The one above, Thomas and Theo. Some of us will have our webcam on. Some of us will have ours off. Some of us have our webcams to turn them on. Some of us just have voice. Okay, so let's discuss the meta.
Yeah. Current meta in our regions.
Okay, so the current meta in US, what's your thoughts on the current meta in US as what we've been seeing?
Well, as of right now, we've been seeing a lot of flywheels, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, from my past experience in Nothing But Net, this year's game is so much easier and so much nicer for building flywheels, because you can actually move your position without like actually having to change your velocity and all that crap with your programming. It's like a pain in the butt.
I agree.
Yeah.
Flywheels are definitely, they can be a pain in the butt, especially the hood.
Yes, especially the hood, dude. It took me like a whole freaking almost a year, the whole season, just to get it where I wanted to be. But yeah, so I don't know. This year, with position with more targets, it's just so much easier. My personal opinion.
So, Theo, how's the region going? Like, what do you see as a meta for your region? Right, is Theo there?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, hello.
Oh, hey there.
Yeah, the meta in our region, like, there's a lot of different robots. I've seen a lot of flywheels and a couple punchers, but in our region, there's a lot more flywheel robots than there are cap robots. Most of our matches were won by the flags, and then I think only like 2 of our matches there's actually anything on the posts. But yeah, what do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like having played Nothing But Net as well. It's pretty much we did the work for our flywheel back in Nothing But Net, and now we're just improving it from then. So yeah, flywheels for us have definitely been the way to go.
Gotcha. Spencer, so in your region, what do you notice?
So it's like the complete opposite in Australia at the moment. There's mainly the cat bots dominating, which is quite weird, and I don't think it's been expected. We do have less time to prepare compared to the US and Canadian teams, since we start competing in June and July. But look, honestly, there's probably only one other robot in the country that's consistently scoring flags besides our own. And most games are won by just parking and the caps on the ground.
So basically, in US, Canada, it's basically flywheel, and for the Australia, it's a little bit like a mix or caps or something like that, correct?
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm getting around the same thing here in Texas. I would say that there is a little bit of an increase in catapults as well. So I will say that there's a very big variation of types of robots in this season, and it's definitely going to be very interesting as we go through for Turning Point.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, this game is so back and forth, and the different types of stuff, like robots you can have that go with each other. There's a lot of opportunities for a lot of designs.
Yeah, definitely. And the second you stop focusing on the flags as well to go do stuff with caps, the other teams just take the flags.
Yeah, no, it's terrible.
And autos have a lot of influence too.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like, autonomous, that 4 points can really make a difference in this season. I believe it can, it plays, I forgot what percentage. What percentage is it? It's around, it plays around 25% in around this season, I've noticed. Well, for this beginning season, early season, and later on, probably in Worlds times, although the percentage would be a little bit less, because there would be so much competition, autonomous still can be just as important, in my opinion. But do you guys agree?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's definitely important, yeah.
Yeah, reliable.
Because it's like,
Go ahead.
it's like the 4 points. It's not just 4 points, right? Because it's 4 points for yourself, but also 4 points that your opponent can't get anymore. So it's like that swing of 8. It's just how the scoring works this year. It's a different way of thinking about how the points are scored too.
Yeah,
Yeah, like-
especially with this game. Yeah, go ahead. That's my
Yeah,
bad.
sorry. Like what you'll notice in Australia is that most games are only lost by a point or 2 points. So that autonomous is just so important if you want to win here. Like, yeah, I just think it's such an important aspect of this season's game that you kind of need it if you want to win.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The point system this year is a lot smaller than with like nothing but net, obviously, and with that small range, autonomous is a huge game changer. So,
Interesting for us too is that like a lot of our matches they were by a couple points. There were like huge swings, like 5-20 or something like that, and most of them were won by an overwhelming swing.
interesting.
Yeah, and then coming out of auto as well. If you're our auto was getting the whole line of flags on our side, and that set us up really well for our driving matches, because like not only do you get that 4 point bonus, you also have the majority of the flags scored for yourself. And at the start of the match, you got all the balls like in the middle of the field, so they're easy to collect. But then after you shoot the flags a couple times, they kind of just work their way into the corners, and they can be harder to get sometimes. So if you can get those flags like right off the bat, it makes it harder for the other team to swing them back themselves.
The TVA meta predictions, they were moved, but as I can tell, they seem pretty correct. They're, I believe, on the Instagram, on TVA Instagram. We're just a second. Okay, so for the shooter, 36% flywheel. So as we can tell, it is following that flywheel a little bit, that flywheel prediction a little bit more correctly. The catapult is 14%. That's a little bit less predicted, but still pretty good. For drivetrains, what did you guys see as a primary drivetrain at competitions?
Mainly, I see a lot of, I don't know, what do you guys consider H drives, C drives, right?
Tank drives?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw plenty of those, especially this year. I don't know how I feel about H drives. I understand that you want to move left to right easier with one motor, but you're so limited on motors this year. It's like, holy crap. I don't know. There's so much to do in the single game in a 2-minute period. I don't even know. Like, you can just turn 360 and it'd be a lot easier.
Yeah, according to the predictions, Omni and Traction, 37% and 26% is all Omni wheels. I should have made that be a little bit more detailed as to what it means, but wait. So yeah.
Yeah, so ours was we had the a 4 omni wheel base like normal, but with the 2 tractions in the middle, just so we can get pushed around as easy. And I was expecting to see a lot more teams that are our competition do that, but most of them were just rocking the 4 omnis.
Oh, there we go. That was basically on wheel type. So with the prediction of drivetrain type, 63% predicted to be tank. Does that seem to be followed pretty well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
I didn't
good.
I didn't see a single holonomic drive at our competition, right, Jacob?
Yeah, no, nobody is here. Not yet.
Gotcha. So the X drive and all the other choices are probably a little bit less than predicted.
Why'd you decide to go with an X-Drive early season, Connor?
Why did I? I just thought it would be a cool thing to try out. I didn't really build a drivetrain with an X drive, so I was like, you know what? Sure, might as well just build it, see how it works. I built it in a manner where it's like in the front there is like a little slope on front of it, and then like when the robot drives past the platform, it drops below and prevents robots from pushing the robot behind the platform, like on the center platform. It worked pretty well, but the problem is on the tiles. If it lowers a little bit and touches the tiles, it just falls back. Just not good. So yeah.
Can I just add something about what we've seen in Australia about the wheels and the drivetrains?
Sure.
So I've only seen tank drive here, and there's mainly 4-motor tank drive with Omni wheels or 6-motor tank drive with Omni wheels. Now, one of the weird things I've noticed is that probably 3 teams here have started using the 6-inch wheel legs, which is quite unusual, quite unexpected, to be honest. There's also the 5-inch traction wheels, which are like really good here. I mean, the teams that use those they always get on the platform. It's just they're really good, but yeah, Omni wheels are everywhere. Yeah.
I mean, the platform is definitely a game changer as well, just like autonomous, I would say. But I don't know. I just don't know. Since I haven't really played any matches or anything, I don't know when or how I should prioritize it. But I do have like concepts, but I don't have experience.
Yeah.
So in the competition, there has been some V5. Have all of you guys seen V5 so far? Like in competition?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Wait. Thomas, did you see V5? Like, did you go to the competition and see V5 yet?
Well, I saw them on videos that I've seen, but yeah.
So what's your opinions on the impact of V5 in competition?
In my opinion right now, I don't think I haven't seen anything like a game changing, but that's because people are still trying to figure it out, obviously. I think by me and Tio were discussing this earlier, by like later season, people will figure out like what it's up with this and how do you maximize its potential.
Yeah, I agree. I believe later on in the season, people would, like as you said, understand and get a good feeling for how V5 works. Currently, as you kind of as what you're implying is that in early season, we're still in the phase of trying to understand the potential of it and all that other goodness V5 provides. Have you guys heard about anything that has been happening with V5, like any bugs and stuff?
Yeah, so at the British Columbia competition Teo and I just went to, we were really, I was at least worried about the V5 robots we would have to go up against, but a lot of them were having problems with the partner joystick, like using 2 controllers. One of the team's robot just wouldn't work. So like there's some really unexpected bugs. Also the the different programming software that some teams use. Like they're still trying to learn all of that stuff, and it's just not good for some V5 teams.
Yeah, most people use VCS. But also there was I think I heard one of the people's brains melted at the competition.
What?
And it's like,
Yeah, that's
Melted.
yeah, started smoking, and yeah, it melted off. It's dead.
What?
So V5 melted?
Yo, that's insane.
Oh my. That's going to be a little bit scary to go into the competition and be like against a V5 robot with the fact that there's not that many teams who, like, around 500-ish teams are competing with V5 now, correct? Like, who has been competing for competition, I guess, would be a good estimate. Seeing that's happened on a competition so early, that may be a little bit scary as to what may happen in the future.
Yeah. What probably
batteries have a
happened
lot.
though is that like the battery leads maybe got like cut or something by accident with one of the robot mechanisms, or like hitting a wall or something. They might not have just been careful enough, you know.
Okay, so back to the ideas. What do you think would be a very good off-meta build idea for a robot?
Can I lead this one quickly and just talk about something we've done?
Yeah.
Right. So when the season started, we had some ideas because we participated in the Kiwi Challenge this year, Potluck. So we had to use pneumatics a lot, and we were kind of getting used to using those a bit more. And basically, what happened was when the season started, we wanted to find a way we could incorporate the pneumatics into the build design to kind of improve our performance in the game. So we developed two different brake styles, so a way to park on the platform without being knocked off. So one of them, which is what we're using at the moment, uses pneumatics, which basically push down anti-slip mats on the anti-slip mats on the platform and basically lifts the robot up. So that's been really successful for us so far. At our last competition, it was like this really cool strategy that we did where we parked on their platform and put caps on ours, and then we basically prevented two robots at once from getting onto the platform, and it almost won us that game. So no one's been able to knock us, and it's such a good idea that I'm really shocked that not many teams are incorporating it.
Also, with an H drive, you can do some sort of active PID brake. That
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, for with V4, what do you consider to be like a good motor distribution when considering this change in V5 and all the other stuff happening with hardware changes and all that, you know?
See, definitely 6 motor drive, dude. Yeah. I know a lot of people are gonna go 4 motor drives on the V5, and the only way that we can really beat that anywhere close is with a 6 motor drive. So.
Okay, I'll call it Cortex. Sorry.
I don't know. Cortex win worlds.
Someone.
Ooh.
Sorry for calling it V4. It's Cortex. Okay. Sorry. So what's your thoughts about the vision tracking with V5? This new vision tracking with the flags and all that other stuff.
Oh, well, the vision sensor's not that good. It has like a 1mm pinpoint camera, so not a lot of light gets through. And just playing around with the vision utility and trying to get it to track the flags is really hard. Like it often loses the flags, and any changing in lighting loses its tracking, and it's just not really reliable. And it also tracks a lot in the background because like the red in the flags, there's a lot of red in places, and so it tracks a lot of that. So we'll have to do a lot of filtering and optimization to try to get a good reading out of those.
Gosh, that stinks. So with filtering, how exactly? I don't. So how exactly would you filter the system if you were to?
Well, a couple ideas I have is calculate the average of all the sizes, and then if there's anything that's way outside the average, discard it, and also proportions. If there's something that's outside of proportion, then discard it, and stuff like that. So you could, there's a lot of flickering that happens, so we could do some sort of rolling average on the flags. And also you could group them together, so if there's a red flag and a blue flag nearby, you can group them into a section and stuff like that. It's definitely not an easy task.
Yeah. So do you think that someone more along the lines of like VexU could probably do it like flawlessly? Well, not flawlessly, but could probably do it with extra help from other. Do you think VexU could do it much easier than someone in Vex, in normal Vex?
Well, I don't know. If I was VexU, I could just use a Pixie Cam because it's a lot better. But
oh, forgot about that.
Yeah, it's the vision sensor it's pretty limited. Like the Vex's spin on it is not, I don't think, as good as the Pixie Cam.
It is definitely not.
But do you think that, a little bit off subject, do you think that still would have a pretty good use with Vex IQ once it becomes legal in Vex IQ?
I don't know. You can do some basic things like turn until object is X is smaller than this, so maybe basic beginner programmers could also do that if they want to align with something, but I don't know, not that useful.
Gotcha. So Theo, your hybrid system?
Yeah, we don't have to talk about it. It's just basically with Cortex, there's autonomous, and there's just different ways of doing autonomous, and I came up with some sort of multitasking system that looks really clean and has a lot of features. But do we want to talk about it?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
All right. And so, like, there's two ways of doing a traditional auto, or two general ways. One, you could have functions that are self-contained that have PID inside, and you go from A to B, and they're blocking functions, and you can build your autonomous out of those. That's what we had last year, but the issue with that is that you can't really do actions between driving. You have to wait until stop so that you can do something else. And so the other way that I've seen a lot of teams do is they have a separate PID task, and then they control that task using their autonomous. But that it's hard to control, and you also often have to do delays or stuff like that. So what I've kind of done is kind of a mix of both, where I have wrapper functions. There is a separate task, but I have wrapper functions that like they act as A to B, but I can also do stuff like start moving to this direction, wait until it's halfway there, and then execute this action, and then wait until completed. And so just it's a nice way of multitasking, and I think it's one of the reasons that we got Design Award, because the judges were pretty impressed.
Yeah, it's really sweet when it works.
This is all in driving control, or is it autonomous?
Autonomous. And so it's just a nice way to have good autonomous, so I can have drive 6 inches, I can have drive 6 inches without blocking the function, so I can do stuff after. I can say drive 6 inches, wait until 3 inches, execute, but like it can do one move while doing a bunch of smaller moves in between. It's kind of modeled after how the V5 does it, because with V5, like motor rotate to this position, there's a toggle that you can make it non-blocking, and so you can do other steps while that motor executes the function.
Okay, that awkward silence. Okay.
I was eating something.
I don't really have much experience with PID. I'm sorry.
That's fine. It's
Okay.
well, you mean you don't need it for V5?
Oh yeah, true.
That's very true, bro. Holy crap.
Gosh, V5. I feel really bad for those teams who order V5 and then like what is it? In New Zealand, I believe
Oh no.
they had a ban on V5, didn't they? Right?
Yeah, they did. They did.
So, what's your thoughts about the ban on V5?
But let's scrub the email.
Spencer, what's your thoughts?
I mean, they're a close region to us, and we've got a similar situation to them. I wouldn't go as far to say that it's the same situation, but like, so what's happened there is they're not getting V5 in time for their nationals, and there's a few teams there that have V5 already because of the beta. So what they've done is they've gone, all teams that had it for beta can't use it in nationals, as a way of making it fair for the teams who couldn't get it in time due to the allocation. Whilst here we don't get it till like a week before nationals, but we didn't have a ban for it, so that's the kind of the issue that they're in.
Yeah, it definitely does seem like a big issue for that region. So what's your thought, like, what's your opinion about those teams that do, that when there's that restriction on V5, what's your opinion on how it would work once you guys move over to Worlds with teams that do have V5?
Is that for us, sorry?
What's your thoughts about, like, do you think it would be easier or harder for the teams who have,
Alright, from New Zealand. I mean, they wouldn't have as much practice using V5 in competition, so most likely that'd be their first competition with V5 being Worlds, unless they're going to like Pan Pacific or Asia Pacific championships. But you know that'd cost a lot of money on top of Worlds. So look, I don't think they'd be prepared for it unless they have a lot of solo practice or they scrim a lot with other teams. But they'd definitely be at a disadvantage compared to the US, I feel.
Yeah, definitely. Considering the amount of teams the US has and the world population, it's like the world to US is pretty 1-to-1, but if you consider one country to US, you can see that there's slightly an advantage to US with the fact of their population, as well as with the fact that they're closer to getting V5 and all the other stuff. And then just having that pure ban with V5 in New Zealand, I don't think it would be really that fair to people who have the capacity to buy V5.
I mean, this is where I think it's kind of a touchy topic, but I think that for the people in New Zealand, it kind of is fair for the nationals to have the V5 banned, mainly because they'll all have access to the same stuff, and it's not like one team will just be at a massive advantage at that specific tournament. Like, after that, it'd be fair, unfair, sorry, because they wouldn't have experience with it. But I think for that event in particular, it's probably fair that no one has access to it.
I agree, yeah. It probably would improve fairness until once they reach world level and those people qualify. But do you think that does put an emphasis on build quality and all that other type of stuff to just focus on V4?
Yeah, look, I think they would definitely be more like adapted to the V4 or the Cortex Connor. But yeah, look, I reckon that heading into Worlds, they'll definitely, they'll have better robots more for V4, but yeah, the V5 is just going to put them at a disadvantage, I think, if they get it later without the experience.
Okay, want to go through reveals and such, just looking through and giving our inputs on that?
Let's give it a go. See what happens.
All right.
Yes.
This will be 8059. Just a second. And where is it?
Dude, I wish I had that much time to work on a robot like that. Holy crap.
I think I may have lost 8059. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is 8059. They're a pretty good team. What's your opinions on their catapult design as well as their flipper? Theo, what's your thoughts?
Well, it's interesting. Their catapult looks like it can shoot pretty hard, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know why catapults would be really better. They can do a nice double shot, looks like.
There. Can you all hear the awesome music? Is that good? Can you hear it? Okay. So do you think that catapults would do pretty well this season?
I personally, I don't know how I feel about it. I understand that a lot of people are trying to do the double shot. But the thing is, if you move once, you're literally gonna miss. Or like if someone plays defense on you, you're basically screwed for both of your shots. But with the flywheel, you can do double shots as well, sort of. But there's a little bit of delay because you have to intake it in. But then that split seconds allows you to reposition yourself and hit the flag, the one that you missed if someone played defense on you. So I think that little delay actually is a lot better. It slows you down and lets you process everything better.
And with flywheel, you can do some double shots too, and you have the benefit you can control it with code. If you have a really involved PID that can really control the flywheel quickly, you can tune the speed it ramps down for a double shot. Meaning that if you have it tuned really nicely, you can do a double shot from a lot more places than just a catapult.
Yeah,
I agree. So what's your thoughts about the D-score mechanism that they have? Like, what's your thoughts about like a 2-bar that just D-scores caps?
Yeah, it's like at our competition, pretty much there was only 2 cap scoring robots, but they didn't really get picked going into the playoffs because most teams were just running those cap D scorers. So in a region where a bunch of robots have just high cap D scorers, there's no point in even putting them up on the posts. So it just makes it an entirely flag based game, and it changes it a lot.
I personally think by later in the season, I think scoring on top of the post will be very important. It's gonna be a game changer. That little point swing that you get, it's every point you can get is literally will change the game for you.
Sorry, you go.
No, you go.
So for one thing I did notice during competition is that if you get the there's 2 types of posts. There's like the lower post, and then there's like the higher post that's a little bit taller. One thing I noticed is that if you score a cap on the higher post, it makes things much more difficult for teams to de-score that. Do you think that will be somewhat of a benefit for the cap scores?
Well, yeah, we had a de-score, and we had never actually used it in the competition, but it could do low caps fine. But the high caps, we definitely had to. It's not really easy to de-score, so there is some security in the high post.
Gotcha. Ready to move over to the next robot?
Let's go.
Yep.
Okay, so this next robot is 2775J. If I can get it. Gosh, the way I did this. Oh, there we go. Okay, so 2775J is a V5 robot. with a fork intake and I believe, a catapult.
Oh boy.
Oh my.
You already know.
I love the video quality.
Well, the video, I do like the
I like the style.
yeah, I like the style. Is it like it looks like a little bit of color correction or just filters?
I really like the lighting in particular.
So do you think a robot that has a double reverse 4-bar on one side could probably score consistently? Like, do you think that they would score consistently on average for those types of robots who builds that design where it's like on the side?
I would say it really depends on how someone executes it. This one, kind of sketch. I don't know how I feel about it. But it works. Yeah.
Gosh, it looks like a huge pain for those teams the team who chose to put the standoffs and just bend the standoff for the cap intake. Gosh, that looks like they put a lot of work on that intake.
Yeah, I remember during my Starstruck year, though, we're gonna go off topic a little. I remember one of the teams at our regionals competition, they freaking sanded down their standoffs to the point where it looked like freaking pitchforks. And holy crap, dude, I almost ran into that thing and I almost took an L.
Oh my.
That was not fun.
Okay, 1 second. Gosh, dang it.
I feel like they slapped that robot together pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I think there's a lot better ways of grabbing a cap than a force standoff method. Those are kind of flimsy, and you can lose your grip pretty easily.
Is this good? Instead, we're going with
Oh boy.
with the red hat. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh, they also have a little brake pad on the bottom of their lift.
Yeah, I saw that. I was gonna say that. Yeah, it looks really good.
Oh yeah, they did have that brakes on.
Yeah, neat
brake on
little
the
passive brake.
I mean,
Very
at least that video shows you that one motor V5 runs pretty well. For the lift.
Oh yeah, I think that I agree. Since it's related to like around 2 to 2.5 motors, I bet it will work pretty well.
I think with really good or a little bit better build quality, it's gonna run pretty smoothly because you can see whenever they go up, it feels like it's forcing. There's a lot of force.
Yeah, just have good build quality, and you can be able to have a lift with one V5 motor lift. Want to move over to the next robot, 315G.
Yes,
Yeah.
This.
So should I do it where it's like, should I just span this full screen instead, so teams can see it, or should I just keep it how it is for next ones?
You can just try to run it full screen, see how it is. Doesn't matter.
Okay. So 315G is a pretty good robot. I haven't really. So what region are they? Do you guys know?
Cali.
California. Gotcha. Wait, don't they have like a one motor flywheel, as what I heard, correct? Or is it two motor?
I have no idea. I'm trying to watch. I'm trying to observe the video right now. I haven't seen it in so long.
Gotcha.
It looks pretty strong. Like it looks like it can shoot pretty hard for one motor.
Is that V5 or?
Yes, it's
Yeah, it
V5.
is.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
definitely one motor.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so distribution I think is a one motor floor bar with, yeah, I believe that's a one motor flywheel. So it looks like they are very efficient on their subsystems. Do you think that this could be a pretty good benefit to have a very strong drivetrain and a questionably, well, they do have a very good flywheel, but a questionably questionable scoring cap manipulation?
You can see the V5 P80 on the lift. It has that characteristics of being really rigid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the strong base though is definitely, well, not definitely a must, but it definitely helps because, I mean, if you can score flags, it's great. But with the defensive aspect in this game, especially, like stopping your opponents from scoring flags is just as important. And if you can push them around, then they can't score. And if you have a weak base as well, if somebody pushes into you, you kind of have to just let them. Otherwise, you'll stall. So the strong base is, I think, worth it.
Okay, that's a pretty long message on Discord.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, like, yo.
So I will say they're a pretty good robot. They look really good in build quality. I believe I once heard something about their compression system. Wait, I haven't seen, I didn't see their compression system. What does it look like? Oh, yeah, so it's rubber bands. That's cool.
I don't know how I feel about that because all the balls are literally the same density, or like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can just straight up go like Sinhood, like everyone else is doing.
Okay.
But they are pretty solid at like in general. Their whole foundation,
Mm-hmm. Are y'all ready for the 929U? Yeah, let's.
Oh my.
There you go.
Let's see the reveal. Just for review. Okay.
See that 10 balls per second one real quick.
Oh yes. So 929U is a flywheel robot that has a pointy boy on the side of it. Pretty well built. What's your thoughts on its design, Thomas?
My boy Zach over here. Oh, you already know. He always has this insane build quality. That's why he makes everything work so well. But design-wise, I think it's pretty solid. It's pretty similar to the Disco Bots, obviously, but for this game, it's pretty solid. Yeah.
So
It kind of looks like 1010N too, or a couple of those 1010 robots.
Yep.
So, do you think that there will be a pattern of like flywheel bots with the pointy boy in the future, like or do you think that there will still be a variety of robots?
It's hard to say. Like, it's definitely working right now, but if cap robots become like more predominant, who knows? They might not be able to keep up and might want to use that motor for knocking caps off for better flywheel or better cap shooting, or not cap shooting, flag shooting.
So if
I think
Sorry.
That's it. Oh, wait. You go ahead. My bad.
So, with the V4 robots, do you think it would be best to focus on just balls and shooting and all that stuff, while V5 could focus on other stuff, or do you think that it will be V4 with variety and V5 focusing on one thing?
Well, as of right now, I'm using V4 or Cortex, whatever people want to call it.
Yeah, I mean Cortex. Sorry.
Yeah. Let's see. I like every single year. I usually go variety because you want that overall, overall robot that can really do everything consistently. Because for tournaments, you really can't depend on anyone, unless you know them like personally well. But even then, you don't know what's gonna happen because their match schedule can be all whack, all that crap, unfortunate events, and you really can't depend on people. So I usually always go with the robot, that all-around robot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely. Do you think that V4 has an advantage with the variety tactic compared to V5?
Yeah, I think with V5 you have to be a bit more specialized, but Cortex you can spread out your motors quite a bit more.
Yeah, it's definitely easier with the Cortex V4, but I still think with the V5 you can also do variety just as well. It really depends on your build quality and how you build it.
I agree. Yeah. Want to move over to 448X?
Yeah, why not? Let's go.
Okay, why not?
Hey, where is Zach, dude? The freak, someone add him in the Discord.
So this is 448X, and they are basically a robot with what are they? Oh yeah, the fork and the elevator.
Yeah. I think their fork system was pretty dang. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I see an IMU though. That makes me kind of sad. Sad boy.
So, do you think that we will be seeing more of that type of system with the fork with like two sides and such?
I definitely think so. This video that I made probably inspired a bunch of people early season.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start seeing a bunch more of these similar subsystems or like concepts.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So do you? 1 second. So do you believe that this system would be efficient for this season? It looks pretty well built. Do you think that we'll be doing pretty well with this build and performance?
I think it's definitely consistent, but by the end of by later in the season, you're gonna be able to descore all those caps they put on instantly. So like with that system, it's kind of slow. I don't really know how I feel about it, but like early season right now, like I said, I think it's pretty good for what it is.
So Spencer, do you think that so what's your thoughts about their elevator lift? Do you think it would be do you think an elevator lift would be good this season?
I mean, it all depends on the region. I think, like in AU, since most things are all cap bots and focusing on ground caps, I mean, as soon as you get control of those posts, like those robots can't do anything because they can't, retake them and start flipping things on the floor because they can't just score. I think that in other regions, so like mainly in the US and Canada, New Zealand, that forklift design is probably a bit slower than you'd like it to be. I mean, it does the job, and I think it's a great design, but realistically, you might be able to do something a bit faster that does the same job with less motors and a bit less focus on the driving than a forklift mechanism.
I agree. So, do you think that robots could possibly have potential to have a good elevator lift at Worlds?
I
I
mean,
definitely think. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I reckon that it's definitely possible. You never know what else.
Yeah, we saw it with Dreadnought last year. They were pretty nutty, the elevator lift.
Oh yeah, that Illinois team. Yeah, they were really good. They're, I would say they probably had the best elevator lift out of all of the robots in Vex history, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think so too.
At my boy Danny over here. And 99371 Dreadnought.
So, who's the, so Theo, what's your thoughts on flywheel builds? I can see that this team has one wheel for flywheels. Do you think that would still be pretty effective, or do you think that having more wheels would probably be better, or do you think that they probably could be good, like they both are good?
I'm not too sure. I don't think having two flywheels is really worth it. You can do double shot on one pretty well. I think one flywheel is good for the job.
I'm meaning, so 448X, I believe, they have one wheel on their flywheel. Do you think that is that would probably be? Do you think it would be better to keep that design, or do you think that would be better to have more momentum for a robot?
Right. I think three wheels is probably they all have their benefits. I think we're going to try three wheels because it's lots of momentum, and we can shoot consistently, which is really important. But one wheel flywheels work pretty well too.
Makes sense. Wait, I think I did push a little bit of a bias, but I do think that having 2 to 3 wheels for a flywheel would probably be a must. And one wheel, I think one wheel may be a little bit pushing it with when it comes to momentum. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, I agree with that because the way with velocity control works, you do need that little bit of momentum to keep it more accurate. I think 2 or 3 wheels, like you said, is perfectly fine. I think one is just under limit, but it works. Like we said, it gets the job done.
So ready to move over to the next robot, 21S.
Heck yeah.
Okay, let's do this. That one was obvious. Okay. So this is 21S. They are a they are a 6-bar with a flywheel with a design to, gosh, I cannot think right now. 21S is a robot with a flywheel and a Dover 6-bar with a fork. Do you think that would be a pretty good design for this season? Jacob, what's your thoughts? Do you think that a robot with a Dover 6-bar with a 6-bar with a fork and a flywheel would be pretty good this season?
I mean, yeah, it looks like it's doing the trick in this reveal. You definitely get the height with that 6-bar there, and it compacts down a lot more than a 4-bar would, like for the height that you get out of that 6-bar. I think one thing that is would probably be maybe an issue is the 36-inch rule, like with how far it extends out. But as long as you build it within size, it's good. I could definitely see this becoming more popular. Yeah.
I agree. Do you think that V5 robots could possibly do that just as effectively, or do you think that it would be a little bit more difficult with the V5 robot to build a robot that can accomplish all things at once?
I think it's definitely possible. I think more experienced teams will look for maybe some passive transmissions to try to distribute their motors a little bit more effectively. But even like not as experienced teams can still, I think, be just as effective with V5. They can just distribute their motors. Like a one motor lift, I think, would be enough for these light caps, and one motor flywheel is enough for the light balls. So yeah.
Yeah, I think V5 variety or like Omnibots will have more of a potential than Cortex. If like we said earlier, build quality and design. It's how you execute it. V5 will hands down always be better, but it's just how you will do it.
I agree. Yeah. So do you think that this would probably get who do you think will get a leg up with this change? The teams with more experience, or the teams who are new when coming up with this new Robot C, not this new Robot C++, Java, all these other new programs that are being forced with V5?
Well, it's not so much the the language as it is the V5 system and all the smart motors. Like each of the motors have an onboard controller that's way more powerful than the Cortex itself, and so there's a whole bunch of onboard PID that happens. And so beginner teams, they can just say motor dot rotate for two rotations, and it's done. But with Cortex, you have to know bang bang or PID or just figure it out. And so it'll definitely raise the floor for beginner teams.
So, do you believe that the beginner teams, like with this leg up, do you think it could help increase their chances of qualifying for Worlds as beginner teams, especially considering with this best of one stuff happening too?
I think it's still the same. I mean, an advanced team will do better than a beginner team, but it definitely raises the platform for everyone. Advanced teams can also do more advanced stuff with V5, so yeah, I think it kind of still stays the same.
Yeah, I would agree with that opinion as well.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So y'all ready to move over to 3366?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Where is it? There we go. A Blitz Alliance robot. So what's your opinions about this, Spencer? Like, do you think...
It's just loading up. Give me a sec.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, the stream's delayed. Yeah. Yeah, it's just starting. Right. That's quite a big cap.
Do they intake the ball with the same thing they intake the caps?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the most efficient. I mean, it's really cool, but you can't really do both things at once.
I agree. But do you believe that so this robot put an emphasis on the fact of picking up caps and scoring, like not really just scoring them, but placing them on the platform specifically? Do you think that would be a pretty good strategy for this season?
Yeah, you want to go?
I don't know how I feel about it, because a lot of people are using rollers, right? And all you need to do is ram into it and use your rollers and push it out of the way. Like we saw on what was it, Zach's video, that he just like outtake and then the cap intake went on top of the platform. Like pretty smoothly. So I don't know how I feel about it, but yeah, mixed opinions.
Yeah, I've kind of got the same opinion with it, with the mixed, opinions. But what I've noticed is that if you've got like a kind of a bigger robot that's kind of 18 wide, especially if there's a cap on that platform and you're trying to park, it's like trying to get it out of the way. You might accidentally like tip off the side and get caught, or like there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong. I think with the with putting them on the platform, which is why it's kind of a good strategy. It also makes it difficult for some other teams to pick them up. Obviously, depending on the robot design, but I mean, in some situations, I'd like to say that it's better, but at the same time, it can kind of screw you up a bit if you're going for a park. So I think that's kind of the main concern. But otherwise, I mean, it seems like a pretty good strategy, and it clears the field as well, so you can move a bit easier.
I agree. So the way that they have their intake, I think that could possibly be an entanglement hazard, but I don't know. It looks just fine, but my biggest fear with that robot is that the way that's built, it could possibly be a hazard with robots accidentally just getting in between those. Is that like a cloth or something? Anti-slip map probably, I think.
Yep.
I think it probably could be a pretty big entanglement hazard, but I don't really know. I haven't really seen many videos about them, so I don't know. I will say that I do like their the way they built their pointy boy. They just have a little axe on it.
Yes, dude.
So there's not really much to say about this other than the way that they put caps on the platforms. Ready to move on to the next one?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, this next robot is 2131, 6007, and 7700's reveal with a V5 robot. If I can find it. The way that they made this made it pretty complicated. Or I just can't find it. Okay, it doesn't even exist in my library. So the 2131 team, the 2131, 6007, and 7700, I believe they're the robot with the pneumatic cap manipulation that's like on a chain bar and they just like flip it around. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
So what's your thoughts about that specific design of picking up with pneumatics and flipping it?
It looks so fast. Like once there's a cap up on the post, you just flip it over for your color. You don't have to knock it off. Definitely more effective than the pointy boy strategy.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, it's raining outside, so if there's a little bit of an interference, blame the rain. It's not my fault. I swear, it's not my computer. Okay, so in the previous TVAcasts, what was happening is that there's this RAM stick in my computer, and that RAM stick, basically, it was acting up, and it actually caused many crashes on my OBS Studio as well as my computer as a whole. So I replaced that RAM stick. As you can tell, it's much more consistent with the streaming. But the only problem I see now is that it's a little bit raining outside. So guys, if you're having a little bit of an interference, it's not me. Please don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. So the one by 6007 and 2131, they're the pneumatic robot with caps.
Yeah.
So you did say that they're pretty fast. Do you believe that it would be very effective for the season?
I feel like that intake is pretty similar to the fork in the rotating wrist intake, because when you still have to go out with it, the motion of in and out while after you place the cap onto the post. So it's motion wise, they still have like similar steps.
So I believe there's also video of them flipping the caps on the ground. Do you think that the extra, the fact that they can be able to not just flip caps on posts but also on the ground would be a pretty good benefit?
Yeah. Not really more of a benefit than just using your roller intake, though.
Not wrong. I guess that also would be a pretty big benefit for ball robots, because they can just flip caps on the ground even though they can't score on the post. So that is a pretty big benefit, that ball robots can get caps off of the posts, but they can flip them on the ground, so they can be able to do a good amount, a good chunk of the items.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't have the yet again, I don't have their video, but most of you guys, I think you guys do know what their robot looks like. It was pretty early season that they revealed it. Want to move over to that 929 scrimmage?
Yeah, let's go.
I swear, if this is not... Is this? Yeah, there we go. So this is their scrimmage. For those who have not seen it, 929U is in the back. There is a double reverse 4-bar on the right and a 6-bar on the left.
The hype.
Gotta love the Discord chat right now.
Oh my.
This is...
I
I
feel
love you.
I feel hurt.
Zach with the speedy boy. Room. Yeah, there's. That's what I mean by the high post. Like, if you can get them scored consistently and well, you would definitely have an advantage over a lot of people.
I agree. 929U looks pretty, like, they look really fast at their scoring. And they're also pretty consistent. Do you think that this is probably going to be a pretty competitive robot in the Maryland region?
Yeah, especially now that since he has like freaking all his beef crap. It's gonna be insane. Wait, is this a 2v1? Is it a...
I think
can't
it
tell.
may be a 2v1.
No, like, I don't know who against. Interesting.
I don't know either. One of the robots doesn't have a... Okay, so at the beginning of the match, it's a 2v1. The 6-bar robot against the double reverse 4-bar on 929U. I don't see the team with the double reverse 4-bar, so I can't exactly... Like, I don't see any license plate. So... Oh yeah, what's your thoughts on the difference between a 6-bar and a double reverse 4-bar?
When scoring on post, I think that just going horizontal or vertically up, it's a lot easier to drive around with than like lining yourself up. That's one reason Jess has the that guider, the liner, self-aligner. I don't know. I think that that little vertical, just going straight up, is a lot more easier to drive with than having to move around while you try to score at the same time, because of your distance. It changes while you go up.
Okay, so the double reverse 4 bar is 929X and the 6 bar is 929A. So 929X, they look pretty well built for scoring, pretty fast as well for a robot with a fork.
Wait, which one's 929A again?
929A is the 6 bar, with 929X is a double reverse 4 bar.
I think it's decent. Could be better, but I don't think they had too much time to work on their robot. Probably that would make the most sense.
Oh, 99S is the 6 bar. My bad. Thank you for the correction. Okay, generally speaking, 929U is pretty good, pretty powerful. That's why I heard that their robot is different now. The double reverse 4 bar would be a benefit because of the extra linear motion, or close to linear motion. So yeah.
That tip, oof. Wow, they recovered it pretty well.
Ready for the next one? The next one is 7842F. So that's you guys with your awesome robot.
I've heard of them before.
Yeah, they seem pretty good.
No, they spend all their time painting stuff. It's not good.
Yeah, it's kind of like it has its pros of that you have something new, but if you have a robot that could be improved, might as well improve instead of painting. But
yeah.
So this is 7842. Oh, and that's vertical there.
Bro, I watched that Auton like freaking 10 times because it's so smooth.
It looks
yeah, that was so we drew out the path that we would take, and then we used Teo's his hybrid auto system he was talking about earlier. So one of the features of that is being able to continue on through the sequence partway through one of the motions. So like as we're driving towards the flags, that's just like a 48-inch drive, but then once it gets to 24 inches, it shoots the second ball. So it'll like hold until it gets to 24, and then it'll index the second ball without stopping that drive forward. It's pretty smooth.
Oh, yeah.
It looks very consistent as well with how it's built. It also looks like it corrects itself after it scores that cap.
How many times did you guys actually win Auton as your competition?
I think we got 4 Auton wins out of our 7 or 8 matches we had. Can't remember. We had some bad luck at the start.
Yeah, I understand.
But pretty much, if we hit the first flag, we would get all 3. It's just sometimes it would be off on our first angle.
Is it because you're like the placement of your robot, like how you placed it, like manually? Or?
Yeah, that was one of our factors as well. We have Tails got PID running on both sides of the base, so sometimes we were finding that it trying to adjust itself last minute would kind of put the angle off. But I think setting up the robot was a bigger error than the turn.
What you guys should definitely do next time is like have a C channel like I usually call it like a positioning tool, and then just set it like with the side of against the side of the field wall, and then use that as a measurement with your robot, and then you can just find the distance there.
Yeah, I think we'll do that next time. I was using the crenellations on the tiles. Like,
Yeah,
just two over. They're inconsistent though.
Yeah, depends on like all the fielding crap. But yeah, that all time bro was pretty nutty. I like it.
I like it.
How much time do you have to spare with the autumn?
4 seconds.
Oh,
Dang,
nice.
bro. If only defense was a thing.
Yeah, I know, right? Then this auto wouldn't work. This opponent robot would just run into us.
I mean, it would work, and then you have 4 seconds to kill someone, basically.
Would it
Another way.
Would it be possible to add a 3-point park after you get the cap with the 4 seconds left?
Yeah, we could do that. We were going into this comp. We just left that 4 seconds at the end in case our alliance member wanted to do that park, because we found that like we start at the inner tile, and usually robots that have the outer tile, they'll do something with the cap and then park. That's what we saw a couple times. So we just kind of left that part out. But if we wanted to, we could for skills too.
Yeah.
By the way, that Lexan looks really good with how you painted it.
Thank you.
So, how OP will your next build be compared to this one? Your opinion, percentile wise.
Let's. I don't know. We're hoping to get like 80% if we would put a number on there. A lot better with V5.
I mean, what problems did you experience with this build?
I don't really. Oh, we've just got the 2 shaft encoders on the front wheels. Those are the 2 sensors we use for all the base movements.
Yeah.
So with the smart motors, that's going to be a lot better to have.
I definitely agree.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, what's up?
Gosh, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. Basically, there has been multiple teams at the competition who crossed the autonomous line during autonomous. Do you think it will be pretty common at Worlds to see robots you know what? Let's just go to regionals. At regionals, do you think that there will be a lot of teams who cross the autonomous line?
I don't know what to say there. You go ahead.
Sorry, what I've noticed here is that, I mean, multiple times things have crossed the midline, like, mostly accidental because a lot of the autons are second based. But look, heading into state finals with our next comp, I really think that a lot of robots will still be doing this. Like, a lot of people, like, especially even if you use PID control, something could go wrong. Like, you might get stuck in a ball and your turn might go off, or like a cap, might be in the way. Like, anything can go wrong. And I mean, even despite that, I still think it's possible that you could just go over the line accidentally. Look, I reckon it's going to be possible. I reckon with more refined robots with like really good drive programs, with regulations, and especially with V5 as well, that become less common. But I still think we'll see it at least a couple of times at upcoming competitions throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah. So, with V5, do you think that it would possibly help with the crossing the autonomous line?
So for some teams who currently don't know how to program like PID and all that, I think it definitely helped them because they have more fine-tuned and accurate programs that wouldn't be crossing the line as easily. But I think for teams that are more experienced, it won't really make that much of a difference. But it'll definitely improve the chance of it happening. But most teams in Australia won't be having the V5 before nationals, so I don't see it being fixed by state finals here.
Yeah. Would you really need to work on PID with the V5 or like a personal PID program? that would make it a little bit more accurate? Or would you consider the regular V5 PID like?
I mean, the PID program would still probably be a bit more accurate. I mean, it would help with the V5 as well.
Yeah.
But I still think it'd be good to have like a backup or a fallback PID control.
Yeah.
And for a lot of things,
you go ahead.
For a lot of things that in robotics with you don't necessarily want direct PID on the motors. Like for example, anything that involves vision tracking or external influences, like you need to make your own PID or P loop because there's no PID built in that does your general purpose. And also there is the option to tweak your own PID constants for your motors and stuff. So I think there's going to be a lot more than just using the built-in PID and leaving it at that.
Yeah, I think with VCS you can probably base your Robot C or VCS program around the Robot C program and still pull it off. Just different syntaxes, right?
Yeah, sort of.
So I believe there's someone asking about with Representis. Represent is a clothing company that's they're pretty good at clothing design. I got my hoodie made from Represent, so they're pretty good. Am I leaking? I may leak. So with PID, can you with V5? Can you actually change the KP, KI, and KD in the PID of the motors?
Yeah, definitely. I know definitely for sure for pros. I'm not sure with VCS, but there's more to that too. There's integral limits and they also do filtering, and there's feed forward too if you're doing velocity control.
There's so much crap I'm gonna need to learn.
Oh yeah, I've been hearing some things regarding Vex Coding Studio. Is Vex Coding Studio are they reliable? Like, is it reliable?
Yeah, sure. It's like Robot C. It's a one pager, and it's pretty simple, but it works and does the job. Yeah, I'd say it's reliable.
That's good to hear, because I kind of get a little bit worried with the Vex Coding Studio and stuff and the consistencies, because I'm getting V5 hopefully soon. I don't know yet. I should get it before my next competition, but who knows?
Dude, I literally live like 20 minutes away from Greenville, but I still haven't gotten it. And then I don't know, I just find that kind of funny though.
Okay, so ready to move over to the next one?
Alright, what's the next one?
Oh,
Let's see.
This next one's a reveal. Okay, it is the 1814 reveal. Since this is new, would it be fine if I turn the volume down a little bit on the Now, should I reveal it here or should I reveal it on my YouTube channel?
I mean, you can tease it here first and show us and then put it on YouTube.
Okay. Alright. Here we go.
Roll up. Yeah, I'm litty pounding sake, yellow kitty eating pocky boss. Hella cocky, that's what's up. I'm in Cali making noise off the tail with the boys looking hella fresh, Kyoto, I'm the plug. Latin ladies on me like some Williams on the ladies. I'm about to come on with the click. we coming up?
Okay, and we're back.
Oh my.
So 1814D it's a pretty good robot. It took me a long time to get that robot tuned. Wait, let me see if I can just bring that. There we go. So with the system how it's built, it's fairly efficient on how it solves the problem of caps. So yeah, I think I'm going to make the reveal be only on the stream and actually not post it on my YouTube channel, just so whoever watched it can be able to see it, and yeah. So whoever watches this gets a little bit of a leg up of what I'm trying to do, but you know.
Sweet, it looks awesome.
Thanks. I spent a lot of time working on that. It was really hard to actually build such a design that really hasn't really been made before. But I was able to make it possible thanks to a little bit of help with some talking with a couple of people. Homework was really made this build be hard to do, especially history class. History class made things pretty difficult. So
wait, so that pole liner upper is like you've got a light sensor there to see when you hit the pole, or
yes. So on the alignment tool, it has a sensor on the front of it. Like right in the indent of it. So what we'll do is it will prevent the motors from going. It prevents you from pushing forward because I realized that whenever I align, because it's pretty light, the robot would actually tip back if I drive forward. So I have that aligner. So when it senses that it's aligned, the robot doesn't continuously drive forward, and the robot doesn't tip in competition, so it improves consistency a lot more because of that. Ready to move over to the 99402C's autonomous.
But I just had one more question about the there's like a center wheel on there, right, on your base?
Oh yeah, I removed that basically.
Oh, okay.
I tried making it with V5. The intention of V5 and switching, so there's only 4 motors on the drivetrain, and that center wheel would have 4 motors on it, so it would be someone left there. So I switched that around. Easy. Okay. Theo. Oh, Theo's the one who left. So
yeah, he had to go.
With the what is it? So with the 4 motors on the one wheel, basically all I have to do when I go to V5, I just take that wheel off and replace those 2 wheels on the drivetrain, and it will give me a 4 motor drive for V5 very easily.
Right.
I don't know why, but I chose to remove that wheel and have a 4 motor driving competition. I was pretty surprised as to how well it did in competition, to be honest. Was not expecting to get a tournament champion. I was expecting to get burnt out a ton. But
here, bro, as long as it doesn't burn out like, you know, my robot last year at Worlds, I think you're good, bro. Oh boy, I wanted to die.
I think the thing that saved me is that I didn't overcomplicate things and just chose to make the robot pretty light.
Yeah.
Okay. 99402C. Are y'all ready?
Connor, just wait for our.
I love this one.
Alright. Let's see this.
Where's 99402C? If I can.
TVA.
I'm trying to. Gosh, the fact that. Oh, that's why. Okay, it's a Google Doc. Google Docs link. So we're going to have to figure out a way to put it on. There. Okay, this is 99402C.
Hey.
Love it.
Okay, so 99402C is a flywheel robot with a, they have a pretty good fire rate, to be honest. They did make some changes in the future with the robot, but the robot in that video is really good and really solid. Do you guys agree that this is a pretty good and well built robot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty solid. As long as it runs consistently, which it seems like it does right now. He's going to a competition tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I
I
think
believe
so.
so, yeah.
I think he will do pretty good if he strategizes everything correctly and, you know, just has a positive attitude to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, having the I noticed he has the ball intake on the same side as the flywheel. Seems to be kind of a trend.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something we have, but it looks like it's really advantageous.
Oh my! They shot the ball on the side. Did you see that? Before they went on the platform, they shot. Oh my! That would
Rip the
stink
ref,
if you're
he
on.
took that to the face.
Rip the ref.
Oh,
Boom!
he's
Right
not
out.
one, yeah.
I mean,
Just beat your opponents by like shooting balls at them.
Oh.
At a scrimmage a few months ago, we actually shot our team with a ball. It was like really fun.
holy crap, dude.
Oh, the West Vancouver teams in my region, the 10-10 teams, they have gone through 2 windows with the balls. They broke 2 windows. Yeah.
You accidentally shoot the opposing team's alliances, Smurf. OP. That's how you get the. Tournament champion right there. Just shoot them. Just make them shook before driver control happens. Easy dub. But this is a really well built robot, to be honest. Especially for early season.
Yeah.
He has a D score, does he?
Oh yeah, yes he does. It's hard to see. Let me.
Yeah.
Right there.
Okay, yeah.
There's a
I see
D
it.
score there.
Yeah. Okay, well, best of luck to him tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
hopefully.
Like what, in a few hours.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's getting enough rest right now. He's probably up working still.
The break between Auton and drivers isn't enough to recover from a crotch shot. Oh my.
It really
That would
is,
really
dude.
stink if that actually were a crotch shot. The TVACast, basically speaking, sometimes there's a week notice between the TVAcast and the and saying that we will be going live. This time, we chose to literally just get everything prepared in just 3 hours from scratch. So that was pretty difficult, but we made it possible. To be honest, I do like the simplicity of the TVAcast now and how it is. I do think I'm giving hopefully a little bit better content and more consistency because of the simplicity. Am I? I think I am. So yeah, this is. Anything else to say?
Because this is my first TVAcast. I don't know, I've been pretty busy, but yeah, I think it went pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
definitely for early season, there wasn't too much we could talk about. There's just very broad stuff. But by later in the season, whenever we do more, it would be more in depth, and it's probably it might be longer. We'll see what happens.
I think we did cover all the important stuff. We definitely did. Do you think we did cover the majority of the things that happened for this early season, guys?
Yeah.
If there's anything else we need or someone wants us to discuss about,
we could discuss about best of 3 and best of 1, but we did one of the earlier
all
times.
over that already.
Yeah.
Thomas is just like, I'm out. Yeah. To be honest,
I think that's pretty good.
what's your opinions about this change in the system with best of 1 on every competition?
I don't know, man. You just gotta accept it now. There's really nothing we can do.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I kind of like it. Like, I don't know, it's a lot quicker. Like, the competitions are pretty long day, and then towards the end, with the more matches you have to play, with more teams being in elims and that entire new bracket because of all the changes, it just speeds it up so much. And you really have to be on top of it as well, you know, like if you've got one match, your robot doesn't perform perfectly and then you're out, the robot that's more consistent will always win. I don't know, I like it more than best of 3.
One thing that I did notice with this best of 1 system is that with best of 3, after the first match, generally the opposing team gets a gist of what it's like to be against the alliance, and they actually somewhat adapt to the strategy of one team. It's kind of like football, where it's like the beginning half would be like one team wins, and then the end half the other team catches up because of some change in strategy. So it could be kind of an advantage with this best of 1 system, because the team has less of a gist of what to experience with the alliance, with the opposing alliance. Just asking, do you guys agree with this? With what I'm saying? With the fact that there's less there's less ability to adaptation of the lower seed. So generally speaking, I am kind of for best of 3, but I understand the points as to have best of 1. So generally speaking, I don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't know about the system. We may have to give it 1 season, see what happens. Especially at nationals and worlds and regionals, all those other stuff.
We definitely experienced that at Worlds last year.
Oh yeah.
It was questionable, very questionable. But like you said, yeah, we'll give it a season and see how it goes, because I've never personally experienced it. But we'll see how it goes. I think it'll be interesting, fun.
Yeah, lost our elimination match by around 4 points at Worlds, but I would say I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the best of one system. The suspense though, and eliminations really did increase a lot though. So is that it? Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it. Right.
Thank you all for watching. Hopefully we will be able to get another TVA cast out with maybe stuff like to interact with y'all, like games such as generals.io, Kahoots, guys. If we do another Kahoot, I swear, if one of you guys just spam bots in the Kahoot, I'm ending it. I'm ending it. I'm doing something else if you guys do that again. That was evil. Okay. See y'all later. Bye.
Signing out. See you guys.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
See you.